Welcome back to Eyes Wide, the podcast, where we talk about life, business, and the beautiful intersection of both. I am so excited to be coming to you live here. It's actually a Thursday night we're recording this episode. For those of you that may not know, I'm Craig Palmer, and I am the host of Eyes Wide, the podcast. And this is an episode that has been in the making for quite a while. This gentleman that's going to be joining me this evening is someone that I have been fortunate enough to call a very good friend for a very long time. This is a person that I met literally day one of training for cardiac rhythm management, and he and I were going through the training to become CRM reps. We were going to go sell pacemakers together. We were going to go sell defibrillators together. And so he is, through the years, he's someone that I've always looked to for guidance and support and just the ability to learn and overcome. And so he actually is someone that has his own podcast. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But for right now, we're on my podcast, so I get to call the shots. And so without further ado, I want to welcome Mr. Jason Doleac to the show.
Well, thank you, Craig. That's flattering. That's a nice intro. Really appreciate that. Yeah.
I've been working on that one for a while.
I'm sure. Listen, I know you're reading the prompter.
So why is it taking us so long to get this going?
I'm slow to adopt technology. I got my iPhone 3 over here, and just trying to figure that thing out. So it's just adoption of technology for me, I guess. But I've seen you do this for a long time. I've just never done it. I don't know. I apologize. It's on me.
Yeah, I don't know if I believe you. I mean, you were able to set this all up so seamlessly. I find it hard to believe that you have difficulties with technology.
What do you want me to say? I'm a dick, and I didn't want to do it.
Oh, there he is, folks. There he is. So as I said in the opening, Jason and I met, I don't even want to think about how many years ago it's been. Is it?
2004. 2004.
Good Lord. So 2004, he and I were both hired by a company that was called Guidant at the time. And for anyone listening that knew the name Guidant, knew that was a legit organization to join, especially at the time when Jason and I joined Guidant. We were fortunate enough to get jobs with Guidant. It was in its heyday. That business was rocking and rolling, and it was the close. I'm here sitting. I've got the Thursday night football on, and it's got me thinking about a bunch of different things. And do you play fantasy football?
I do not play fairy tale football. No, I don't. I don't know. It's I don't know. I don't get it. I can't spend the time. I'd rather be out chipping and putting. I'd ride my bike, something.
That's fair. That's fair. And I don't disagree with you. But have you ever played fantasy football? You know the gist?
I used to play with the guys on the Guidant team, actually, back in the day. Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Full circle. So obviously, we're talking about the San Francisco 49ers and the Rams are playing. I mean, technically, these are two good teams playing. It's a Thursday night game. Half of the 49ers are out. They're not playing. They're injured, and the Rams are so. But the idea is, I'm only interested for one thing, and that's because one of my guys on my bench who isn't even playing, he's the backup running back to the guy who is the star of the team, and I'm kind of just watching with open eyes just to see if maybe that guy goes down to not too crazy of an injury, or maybe he just has an upset stomach or something like that. But he goes out of the game, might not be able to play next week, and it gives one of my guys an opportunity to get up there and be in the starting role.
So you're out there gambling on guys getting hurt. That's nice.
I don't want to put it like that per se, but unfortunately, the way it goes is when some people go down for whatever reason, it gives opportunities to the next man or woman up. Does that sound familiar?
It just does sound familiar. Yeah, it does sound familiar. Kind of like how we got into this business. And so to kind of pull the curtain back a little bit for those that might not be that familiar, I mentioned that it was a hot business at the time when Jason and I met. And they literally, it was like joining the NFL for our business. It was. And people listening to this may not be like, what are these guys talking about? That's ridiculous. it was considered the creme de la creme of getting a medical device sales job. And when we joined, being a sales rep here, having your own accounts was locked the F down. People had to die or get injured or something needed to happen. They needed to make a boo-boo on their expense reports or something, for whatever reason, someone needed to go down. And they weren't just going to leave on their own because they were making too much gosh damn money at the time. It was too lucrative of a career. And so you needed to wait your turn for someone to get injured for you to have an opportunity to step up into that role.
I think it was a little different for you in California because California was so saturated and so heavy in reps at that time. And I get that. But then in Utah, we were expanding. Like we grew. What did it take for you to get into this business? Do you remember? What did you do to get the job?
Yeah. So at the time I was selling a heart failure pharmaceutical to cardiologists. And I was fortunate enough to build relationships with some of the younger cardiologists in Santa Monica. And once we became good buds, they were like, you need to move on from this and you should be selling pacemakers. That's where all the guys like you and that kind of have your same persona. That's what they're doing. So I can introduce you to the local manager or the area director if you want and see what happens.
So you know that for me, that makes a lot of sense. That pathway makes sense. You were already in medical device sales. Do you remember what happened with me? I was a bartender. And I got to know a bunch of these cardiology fellows and guys that I was best man in their wedding. And they're like, you need to get into this field. And I knew some guys in the industry, and I got that recommendation. But
I'm serious right now. Are you
100%.
fucking with me?
No, 100%.
Where were you bartending?
I was bartending at Lumpy's, 33rd South and Highlands, Salt Lake City.
Is that the same place you met your first wife?
Utah sports bar. Yes, this is the place I met Meredith. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did.
So it was a good place. It worked out great. But I went to apply for that job, and they looked at me. They're like, "No, come on, no, you got to go get some medical device sales experience." And a guy I was bartending with at the time, his dad was a manager for a medical device company. It was called RS Medical. It was based out of Portland, Oregon. It was selling post-surgical rehab equipment, so muscle stimulators, basically witchcraft. And I went and I interviewed with them, got that job, and did that job for 2 years. Had some success, came back again, interviewed with Guidant, and they said they passed over me for a BYU wide receiver. And so I didn't get the job. And I interviewed a third time, and they said, okay.
Was the BYU guy still there?
No, he flamed out. In fact, the manager said to me, he looked me in the eyes like, Jason, I can't have a bad hire right now. I had a recommendation from another guy before, can't have a bad hire. And so he passed on me. And then 6 months later, he called me and said, hey, you want to move to Casper, Wyoming? And I said, yes, let's do it.
Casper's not a real place, is it?
Oh, it's not the edge of the world. It's not the end of the world, but you can see it from there. I'm not shitting you. It's unbelievable. No, it's great.
I know Casper, Wyoming very well. And actually, Casper was the butt of a lot of jokes between you and I for a very long time. It actually made me smile every time I thought of the idea of you taking that opportunity and needing to uproot and head to Casper, Wyoming. That shows how driven you were, dude. And it's just, tip of the cap to you.
I just wanted to get into it. And it was funny. Who really needs the tip of the cap is Meredith, because I tell you, she had lived her whole life and when she came down to Utah, got her undergraduate and had just gotten her master's degree in education. And she followed me out to Casper, Wyoming. We went in town for a weekend, and driving out of town, she's freaking sobbing. There's freaking anchor chains like windsocks just blowing out straight. It was not a bad place. It was just, I don't know, and 68,000 people. And I, from a standpoint of career, it was awesome. I was 6 months in and on my own there, working with non-EP cardiologists. It was fantastic. It was the best.
So Jason, for those of you that don't know, Jason has a podcast, as I mentioned, and it's called The Device Guys, and it's a podcast that kind of talks about the lives and experiences and funny things that happen to individuals that get into this crazy business and the kind of the comedy if you will, and drama, mix of both that ensue with putting on the scrubs and carrying around a big bag behind you full of medical device paraphernalia. And so, he gets to talk to, most of people in his audience. They're very much familiar with the idea of being a sales rep in the medical device world or being a sales rep in cardiac rhythm management, as I mentioned. That's where he and I met. But Jason, can you kind of share a little bit? Please don't get too fucking boring here, though. Can you share a little bit with what it is that a medical device sales rep does?
Oh yeah, I'll try not to be too boring. Yeah, as if I don't talk about this on my pod all the time. No, I mean from a medical device standpoint, what we do is it's a behind the scenes job that nobody really knows about. You go in for a procedure, and you think it's just the nurses and the doctors in the hospital, but everything that comes in that's external to what the hospital carries, a rep brings in, and a rep is an expert on all the little nuances of each and every product. And yes, the physicians are the operators; they know exactly what they're doing. But when it comes to some of the different nuances of different procedures or different devices that go in, the reps can have a big influence into making those procedures go well. And one of the things we talked about is that as a rep, you see thousands and thousands of procedures. You see every doctor's procedures. The doctors see their own and have the experience there. So you have eyes that have seen more, that and every now and again you can add input that makes a difference in a procedure. And it's pretty fun.
It's a double-edged sword, though, isn't it? When you actually see the capabilities of different individuals who are all classified as doctors and surgeons. And I'm not going to ask you, obviously, to get into specifics, but we both know that there is a difference between surgeons. I would hope that most people do understand that. And I don't know about you, but I was put in certain situations. So when I was in that business, it was when cardiac ablations were really starting to get hot. And there was this frenzy of the EPs that knew that this was going to be the next wave, the next big thing. There was this feeding frenzy to do this procedure on as many patients as they possibly could at the start, because they knew that they were going to start to separate themselves out. There were going to be the people that do a lot of these and the people that don't. And you wanted to be on the right side of doing a lot of these to be able to continue to grow your business and to be able to be speaking at the podium and whatnot. And I would be sitting in rooms knowing these guys that had no business performing cardiac ablations sell their patients who I'm checking their pacemaker on or defibrillator, talking to them about the fact that they need an ablation. And I'm just thinking in the back of my head, holy crap, if this patient even knew how terrible this doctor was at this particular procedure, it would be frightening.
Yeah, I mean everybody has different ability levels. And I think in the beginning, a lot of the use of the procedure was not so much. I mean, I think there's a component of it that's growing business, but there's a component of it that's growing proficiency as well. Like the one thing that I've seen in this industry, I've been in this same industry for 22 years, is the proficiency has gone up dramatically, and people's ability. I mean, you remember you go in for a BIV-ICD, and that could be a 4-hour procedure. Now getting into the CS is a piece of cake. I mean, everyone just has the muscle memory of how to do it, and knowing the tools and being able to develop the dexterity to get to the places you need to go. And cardiac ablation is another leaps and bounds above that skill set, because you have so many things and so many nuances that you're actually doing it and reading and understanding from a standpoint of electrograms and the feel of the catheters and the movements. That, I mean, it is so complex. And I do think that, I think a lot of it is a proficiency development. I mean, you come out of fellowship, and you hopefully out of fellowship you get a lot of experience, but your runway for when you really feel comfortable on your own and without a safety net is dramatic. And I have a tremendous amount of respect for those guys, because it's a scary procedure they're doing. I mean, I don't know if you know much now about what they're doing with PFA, but with RF ablation, everybody just was really worried about the posterior wall of the atrium and dissecting and perforating into the esophagus and causing some real damage to patients. And with PFA and the tissue selective ablation procedures, it's gotten a lot safer. I mean, my big thing with the guys, I'm like, what's changed for you? And their sleepless nights have changed, where they don't have to worry about, hey, is that guy going to wake up tomorrow with an esophageal injury or some complication that just really alters someone's life when they're trying to go alleviate this problem for them. And so that's been one of the big things that I've seen develop over the last couple decades, which has been cool.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. When procedures are new, there's that learning curve, the proficiency curve, and then this idea of, if something were to go bad, how does that present itself? What does that look like? When something does go bad, am I going to be able to fix them again right away? And so there's a lot. I can understand why there'd be a lot of sleepless nights around that.
Mhm. Yeah, I have a lot of empathy for those guys in that regard. And it's something that you mean we don't own that. I mean, the reps, yeah, we're in the room. And people start to think, oh, I'm part of this procedure. Not really, you're not. I mean, you're in there to try to help, but when things go great, and 99% of the time things go fine. But when they don't, it's on that doctor. It's a heavy burden. It's a heavy burden to carry.
Yeah, and so as part of the training, and so it's I actually like talking about this now because there's a few younger people that I've met out and about, whether it be at the gym or wherever, and they know what my background is. We're connected on LinkedIn, and they see that I've had a lot of history of being a medical device rep. It's one of those badges of honor when you get into that, upper 20, 30 years of experience. People actually figure you know what you're talking about at that point. And so they've asked me, what do I need to do to get into the business? Is something I really want to do. I've been in finance, or I graduated with a major in such and such, and I really want to get into medical device sales. And so I try to give them as much information as possible, but it is really difficult to convey the level of responsibility attached to being definitely certain medical device reps. The business that you and I are in, and the business that you're still in, and obviously you excel in, you're one of the premier CRM reps in the country at this point. There should be an award for you. There should be actually, the award should be named on your behalf at this point. I'm starting to think.
That's
But
very cute right now.
but that being said, how do you convey to young people looking to branch out or break out into this career? How do you explain to them the level of responsibility that is attached to a job like this?
Well, one thing I mean, I get this question a lot, right? And people ask me about how to get into this, and I'm like, if you want to get into this, and figure out what company or what procedure that you're interested in, and get really, really curious about it, like understand everything about the disease process, understanding what happens as people start to progress, and how do the physicians think about fixing that problem, and what does the industry offer as a solution, and find those companies that you're interested in, know everything about their product, know what their headwinds are, know who their competitors are, figure out what differentiates them from a competitor, where are they better, where are they behind, come into those things, and then it's a matter of find a way to introduce yourself to people. Find any connection in your life that can link you to somebody where you can then be in front of them and show them that you have looked into this before. Like you're not just saying, I want a job. You're saying, I want to be part of stamping out a disease process. I want to be a part of fixing this problem. And if once you start to delve into it that way, in looking at things that I've looked at, it's you start to see, all right, what problem are you trying to solve, and really get curious about how they're going about it. Go look into the process of how they came to their product. How did they invent it? What's the story of the company? Like, just don't go in it for you. Go into it with curiosity about, hey, why is this company here, and how can I be a part of it? I mean, that's my biggest piece of advice to them. Because if you're submitting your resume, I tell my kids all the time. My kids are like, well, I applied online. I'm like, you have to go in, and somebody has to see that you have initiative and have a reason why you want to be with this company. Have a why. So that's been my avenue for those people.
I love that. I mean, you talked about curiosity a few times in that, and that's a word that resonates so much with me because unfortunately, when you're talking about any kind of sales rep, development or sales coaching, it's really difficult to develop a person who doesn't have innate curiosity to learn about what it is they're doing or to become better, a curiosity on how to better themselves. How do you perform at a higher level? And so it's very difficult that if someone doesn't have that level of curiosity, there's not a lot going on there. And that's where people just think you can like go after a job or any endeavor at this kind of surface level without really digging in deep. That's not doing yourself. That's not doing the role. That's not doing the responsibility of the job, the correct service. And that's also something, if I can give you some more plaudits here, is as this job developed back when we were both doing it, there are days that are tougher than others, and there are a lot of tough days. And it was talking to you that helped me through a lot of those difficult days because of how dedicated you were and how much you appreciated and embraced the level of responsibility that this job offered. And you were always such a great example of that for me. Whenever I started to get a little sideways on the why, like why it is what we're doing, you would be someone that would always bring me right back to say, hey, you're doing a job that 99% of the public cannot do, will never have an opportunity to do, and you're doing it because you are changing lives. You're having a profound effect. This is a responsible job. You have a very difficult job to do, but you've earned it, and so go do it well and go do it proudly.
My thought is always, and I tell people this, you're going to get paged in the middle of the night, and those things hurt. Or you're going to get called out of your son's birthday party. You're going to get paged on Christmas morning. And when you go in, it's just an opportunity to contribute to someone's life. And it makes a difference. And those things, it takes the sting out of the time, right? Because the days are long. The days can, people say, oh, well, what's your day look like? Well, it depends. Some days you have 5 cases on, you're in the lab till 10 o'clock at night. Some days you have nothing on. Some days you get to play men's league and get out and play golf. But not at the expense of, hey, anytime, everybody that I'm with knows, pager goes off and I got to leave at the drop of a hat. But it is that page is not just, oh, I got to go. It's no, now's an opportunity to go contribute. And if you look at it that way, it's a lot less painful.
No, I appreciate that. Let's talk about networking. You mentioned networking. Is networking easier today than it was back in 2004, 2005?
And it's a good question. I think of networking differently, right? I think about the people that I work with. And I think if you take a genuine interest in people, your networking takes care of itself. Like if you show that you are actually interested and actually care about another person, then your networking springs. Your web of connection grows. And like I'm the worst. I'm the worst user of social media. I don't post anything. I don't know anything about doing it. It just doesn't feel real to me. I want to get to know people, and I want to get to know people. I know the valet parkers at the hospital. I know the people at the coffee shop. I know the people in the cafeteria. I know the cleaning ladies. It's just every level. Just look at the individual, interact. The more you interact, the more you connect, the bigger things grow. And it feels kind of effortless once you do it. And things just grow that way. And when you interact with people that way, they will say good things about you to other people. And I think that's how the network grows. I mean, I've seen that with doing our podcast. We've had high-level interventional cardiologists, cardiac surgeons, some anesthesiologists come on our pod and just talk to us about the medical device field. And that, I don't work directly with, I work tangentially with some of these people. But when they heard the opportunity of coming on and just having a conversation, they jumped to do it. And to me, I was super flattered with the fact that they just chose to do that, come have that conversation. And I think it's a testament to how much you show people you care about them. And it's not just a passing thing. You're not just trying to sell them something, right?
Yeah. So you bring up a lot of good points. So that's internal networking. And I agree. When you were talking about you and the valet guys, I'm seeing like a scene out of Casino where De Niro is, talking to everyone, the cooks and the valet guys and whatnot. And so that's like you walking out of hospitals, like De Niro walking out of the casino. So that's good. That's a good visual. And I think that everyone that you touch does play a part. And I think so much of that piece of networking gets lost in today's, I don't want to use the term society, but today's youth and how we exist and everyone with their head down looking at their phones right now. And so it's very difficult, or it's the opposite of difficult. It's very easy to miss all of those people that are in your periphery that you should be getting to know, that you're just not avoiding, you're just never actually seeing them. because your focus is here on this little screen and not on this beautiful world full of amazing people that you should be networking on the daily. And so that is a really good takeaway from the conversations. Make sure that you're aware of all of your surroundings when you have an opportunity to work in a situation. You mentioned, get out there. Anyone that wants to have a chance to break into this industry, they'll be given the opportunity to do some kind of a ride along or spend a day or go see a case with a rep. When you're in there, it's not just about being curious about the device. You should be curious about all the different interactions you can have with the scrub tech, the rad tech, the surgeon, the people there making it happen, the nurses. Show that you would definitely have your eyes up and looking for all opportunity to build inroads. That's a really good takeaway, Jay.
I think everyone has an interesting story. Everyone has a story to tell, and if you'll listen, sometimes they're pretty impactful, and you can take a lot. Growth happens from exposure, and exposing yourself to more is something that I'm trying to teach my kids. Like, my kids call me and ask for something, or text me and ask for something. I ignore it. They'll text me like 3 times, nothing back. Finally, they'll pick up the phone. I'm like, okay, you're getting it. Like, if you need something, let's have a conversation. I'm not going to respond to texts. Let's interact. There's less interaction now, human interaction, and I don't like it. I think people need the touch points. I think people need to look each other in the eye. You need to hear the nuance in people's voices. You need to see their face. There's so much told there that just gets lost in these phones that we get sucked up in all day long.
Everyone's got to tell, right, Jason?
Yeah, so did you. Remember? Did you just check raise me? Yeah, that's what that was.
Oh my gosh. This guy, so Jason and I, not only were we going through training together, but we quickly found out that we had a common love for playing cards, for playing poker. And back in the day, I don't know if it's still the same way, Jay, you'd have to let me know. But when we went to training back then, we were there for a while, and we were there for over weekends. And so, yes, we studied and made sure, because if you didn't get above a 90% on the test, right, you were sent to packing.
I don't remember what the number was. Maybe it was 80, but I don't remember what the number was. But it was high stakes. Like, back then, the pressure was high. I know the pressure is not nearly as high anymore, but it was, if you failed, you went home. Do you remember sitting in that Chili's in the Minneapolis airport? We're sitting there, and it was the heart failure test. It was the night I won those 2 poker tournaments, the night before that test. And that test, I was arguing about the one. I'm like, yeah, this is actually right. And remember Toots? She's like, would you shut up? It's fine. But we were sitting there at that table, and I'm like, did you guys hear someone failed that test? And dude breaks down crying. I never felt so bad in my life.
You talk about, we talk about anytime you're, having a conversation or giving a talk in front of others, public speaking, it's always about know your audience, right? You always want to know your audience, Jason. And for the listeners, the company was in Minneapolis, and so everyone left at the same time to MSP to get out, and everyone's flights would be at various times. So a bunch of us would sit at a table. They had this Chili's. I don't think it's still there.
It's not.
It's not. And but it was right when you walked in, it was it's a huge airport, right? So you can go all different ways. But kind of hung out at the Chili's, and everyone either had some food and said their goodbyes, talked shit on the training. And my man here that I'm sharing the screen with starts just talking endless shit about how dumb a person must be.
I did not say that. That is bullshit. I did not say how dumb someone was. No, I didn't. All I said was, you guys believe someone failed that test? That's all I said. It said enough. It said enough.
The subtext was, how could someone have possibly failed that test? And this poor dude breaks down right at our table, and he's like, it was me who failed. And this guy, I've never...
Can I get another beer? Yep. Just one more. Him too. Yeah, let's make it two.
Yeah. I don't think they do it that way anymore, and that's a shame. And that kind of goes back to my NFL reference, is you had to fight for your spot. If you didn't show up for practice, if you took any time off, you decide, no, coach, I don't really feel like practicing today, you're done. And if you weren't doing your part to make sure that you were going to have all of the knowledge that you needed to have in order to be effective in this role and to be safe in this role, right back to this idea of responsibility, they would not put up with it. And the beauty is there were so many people fighting to get a job with the organization. They just had their pick of the litter. They can just have these training classes and use that. Like getting the interview, like winning the interview meant shit then.
It was definitely just the first step. It was definitely just the first step.
Just the first step. Now you're going to bring you in-house and it's going to be boot camp. And we're going to see how you do. How are you able to handle things under pressure? How are you interacting with the staff? How are you handling pressure? And if they didn't like what they saw, guess what? You were sent a packing.
I mean, it needed to happen though. I mean, it needed to happen because, I mean, the job has a responsibility. I mean, and the biggest responsibility I think we have is understanding what the procedure is and making sure you have all the tools you need with you, right? Because there's nothing worse than having an open pocket and then not having what you need and having to, audible and get someone else there to provide it. The amount of time that pocket's open is significant for that patient. You just have to be prepared. Like those are the things that really have impact in differentiating reps. It's the guys that they're thinking through and are prepared for any eventuality in there. And that's what you learn over the years. I mean, it's pattern recognition of EKG. It's looking at fluoro and understanding those imaging modalities and that kind of thing. But it's really being prepared. And being prepared, taking it really seriously, because once they say, "Hey, it's you and you're coming into this room with us," you better have everything you need.
Better have it all together. What's the worst you ever had on the job?
There was a time that we had there was a late night procedure. It was a BIV-ICD that was just a real struggle, and big fella, and we finally got everything in. And this is back in the early mid 2000s when we were still doing DFT testing. And so for the listeners, it's you test a defibrillator by inducing ventricular fibrillation, and then you deliver 40 joules of energy to cardiovert.
You basically kill a person to ensure that you can bring them back to life is what you were doing.
That's what we were doing. We tested the device to make sure it would work. And on this particular occasion, we put this person into VF and we charged up to 40 joules. Cardioverted shock delivered, and we're looking up at EKG, normal P wave QRS. Everything looks great. Looks good on mine. I'm seeing A sense, B sense over here on the device. Everything looks great. Pressure starts to drop. Doctor steps on the floor and the leads are standing still. It's a thing called PEA, pulseless electrical activity. And so basically the part was electrically depolarizing, but was electromechanically dissociated. So it wasn't squeezing. So his heart was basically still. And so we had to start CPR. And there was the nurse in the room at the time. It was like 10:30 at night. This nurse was 4'1", and she's up there doing compressions like this. And the doctor's like, "Doleac, get up there." And I ended up getting up there and doing CPR for 45 minutes. I mean, I was drenched in sweat, just going the whole time while they did a pericardiocentesis and tapped the guy and tried to do everything we could to bring him back. And that was a rough night. That was a rough night. Got
stuff that doesn't get talked about. Like when we talk about level of responsibility, how crazy is that?
I mean, it's just what you do in the moment. It's not a matter of, I mean, I'm pretty sure that at the time the company would tell me to get into the corner of the room and don't do anything. But once you are you're a human being at that point, and everyone's in the room is doing everything they can to save do their part to save this person. Yeah. So it's a matter of you do what you have to do. And yeah, it was a rough one. That was a rough one. Yeah.
So I mentioned I got the football game going on over here, and I can't remember if it was a Thursday night game as well. I cannot remember. But do you remember the Damar Hamlin game?
Yeah, I don't remember if it was. I think it was a Monday night game. But yeah, when he took that hit, which was a precordial thump right on the vulnerable period of his T wave, and he went into VF. That was wild.
Do you remember how long it took
for them to get a defibrillator on him?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't. I mean, I know it was a long time. And I don't know. I don't know how long it was before they started CPR. I don't even know that. Do we know? I mean, I don't even know. Did he have a neurologic deficit after that? Do you know?
So that's why I brought this up. Because both of us have seen people expire in the room. And I'll tell you this, the first person that I saw unfortunately expire in the room, it wasn't actually in It wasn't actually in the operating room. This was afterwards. And I was going through training and I was just there as an observer. This is how early this negative shit happens. And I was following around the local rep and we were going to check the patient's defibrillator. And he started going into VF right there. And I'll never forget, I hate going this morbid right now, but I'll never forget the speed at which the human body goes from normal color to non-normal color. And then how quickly life can be gone. And knowing that, and then watching that football game, that was very, very interesting to me. That I don't know if he was in phenomenal shape. He doesn't appear to have any, I don't want to say any because I'm not having a conversation with him. I don't know how he's been tested, but he's still playing in the NFL. He's still functioning. He can have conversations. He can function at an elite level.
Yeah, then he doesn't have any neurologic deficit.
What'd you
say that again? I said, then he doesn't have any neurologic deficit. That's interesting. And who, I mean, for him, I mean, it's a matter of, circulating oxygen in the blood at the time. I don't know how a guy makes it that long and how much was actually circulating for him and how quickly they got him CPR, but apparently it was pretty quickly. And he also must have had just some pretty good reserves.
Yeah. It must be insane. It's actually a really good PSA for being in the best shape you possibly can as we get into these advanced years, these wonderful middle-aged years of our life. Because if you take a little bit of a setback, the more you give yourself a positive reserve, the better off you're going to be for the long run.
That's for that. I mean, that makes a lot of sense, and we try to talk about that a bit. Is that we do so much from our society standpoint as far as not prevention, but from solving these problems that we've gotten ourselves into with our local. Our lifestyles are more sedentary. We're not out chopping. We're not out hauling water. We're not doing these kind of things. Human beings weren't meant to live in 72 degrees all the time and be as sedentary as we are right now. You need to get out and move, and there's no money in prevention, unfortunately. But where there is money in prevention is personally, because the detriment of the sedentary lifestyle and what it can do to the output, the effects in your health, will be costly down the road. Personally, so I look at it as, investing in your health is an investment financially because it's going to cost you a lot less to live a lot longer. And we don't talk about that enough. I mean, life has gotten so fast, and everything happens like that. And you want to get things right now, and it's what's expensive or inexpensive, and it's just a matter of effort and really thinking about, hey, and it's not one right thing for anybody else. How does my body respond? Right? I find myself now, I eat one meal a day just because that's what I need, unless I'm going on a big ride. And then, if I'm doing a big ride, then all right, eat some more early in the day and have some fuel reserve to go do that. But I think we've gotten into kind of recreational eating. And I mean, I think we eat way too much.
So you, oddly enough, were one of the first people that I remember. I think it was the book, was it Wheat Belly?
Mm-hmm.
That you turned me on to, and I want to say that you were one of the first people to really talk about this is I don't know what year, but this would have been pretty early on in this whole kind of adventure of no carbs or carb free, and you bought into this pretty early on, and then you're also person that I recall doing intermittent fasts way before it got so popular.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, the whole wheat belly thing, that was after, if you remember, it was after I had my third back surgery. So I had those microdiscectomies. That probably a lot of it came from skiing early on, but I was walking around at 225, and 6'1", 225 doesn't sound that big, but it had an impact on how my back felt. And so after that, I'm like, I got into reading that book, and I'm like, all right, you know what, maybe I can make some changes here. And I think it was, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. I went from 225 to 175, and I've been there ever since. Just because that's my good walking around weight when my back feels as good as it can feel for a 50-year-old dude that's had 4 knee surgeries and 3 back surgeries.
Yeah,
and is bald. So there's that.
Let's keep going. I mean, you can. What else?
What else? Yeah, all the other ailments.
So 6'1", 225. Is that considered big? Is that considered big in the Doleac family?
That's nice of you to bring that up. That's nice of you to bring that up. Yeah, I'm the pipsqueak, right? Jeez Louise. Hey, listen, I'm the only one that's under 6'1". I'm the oldest. I mean, like one of the bits I did in my stand up was like, I was born when my dad was in dental school. They were born when he's an orthodontist. There's a difference.
No, I want you to tell the full joke. Go ahead.
No, what do you mean?
That was it.
That was it. Now, the joke was the joke, but I mean, the point of it was that, I have these monster siblings that are Michael's 6'11", Kenny's 6'8", Suzanne's 6'1.5", and they're all athletic. They all play college sports. Me, I have the athleticism of a newborn giraffe. It's not cool.
Well, we'll get into that in a second, but for the audience, I mean, we have a sibling of a superstar on this podcast, and it actually has been the butt of a lot of jokes through the years. And so, Jason's brother is a Utah star, right? Like
a lot of people in Utah know him. Yeah, he played for the University of Utah back in the Rick Majerus days when the University of Utah's basketball program was in their heyday, and they went to the Final Four a couple of years in a row. He was there with Andre Miller and Keith Van Horn and Alex Jensen and some really good players at the time. And it was a good era of Utah basketball.
An absolute stud. Everyone from Utah knows Mike Doleac. That's for damn certain. And then from there, what did Mike and the boys get done?
That's funny. You had to bring that up. Yeah, the best comment I ever made in my life. He got drafted to Orlando, played in Orlando, and then he played, I don't know, everywhere. He played in New York. He played in Cleveland. He played in Denver, I think. Yeah, he played in Denver. And ended up in Miami. Played with Shaq and Dwayne Wade in Miami. And he was in a championship game there. What's your point?
There he was. No, I love it. I love it. I just wanted to point out when you said 6'1", 225, it always makes me laugh because I always thought you were a bigger guy. You never seemed small to me in any shape of the imagination. And then I met your brothers. And I just thought I laughed my ass off. I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, it's comical. I'm pipsqueak. Fat little kid.
When 6'1", 225 looks like a little pipsqueak, it kind of gives some context into the size of your siblings that we're talking about. And so it's impressive. Yeah. And I'll never forget, one of my favorite things it was soon after I met you that I was watching a commercial. We were watching the finals or something like that, and he was actually in a commercial with Dwayne Wade and Shaq, wasn't he? Was it a Gatorade commercial he was in? We're dead. Remember that? Remember the comment you made? We're dead.
I don't remember. I don't remember a commercial. You probably remember. I don't know.
No, you don't remember that? Oh,
I don't remember the commercial, but I do remember this stupid comment I made. Oh my god, I don't even know what we were talking about.
We were going to be. I will tell the story because you will have revisionist history the way you just did the other thing. No, fuck that, dude. I'm going to tell you word for word how this went down. So we were going to a meeting. We were going to a meeting in Florida, and I can't remember I think it was Miami. I think there was going to be...
Would have been Miami.
Yeah.
And it was 2006 time frame.
That's right. That's right. We were going to an educational meeting down there, and we had plans to go there, and we're bringing some of our customers and stuff. And I believe you had some of the attention of people as we're talking about what we're going to do with our customers and where we're going to go to dinner. And I think you wanted to really make a point of how connected you were in the Miami marketplace because of your brother. And I think your comment was, well, I could always just go see. I could always find out what Mikey and the boys are doing tonight, and then maybe we can.
That sounds. And then
maybe we can figure out where the plans can take us. And I remember you saying that, and I'm like, did you just say Mike and the boys? Like this is your crew? Like you're gonna these are you hang out with this crew?
Listen, I instantly regretted it, and you know it.
No, I love the comment you made about investing now in physical activity. I love the fact you living in Utah, you're always someone that I was so impressed by. You're always on the move doing something. You go do a case, finish up your day, and then you go hit the slopes or vice versa. You're playing golf, you're playing tennis, pickleball. It's impressive, dude. Racquetball was also something that I know that you and I enjoyed. No, it's,
You're still angry?
A little bit. So those listening, you guys have all heard of Lifetime Fitness, great gym. It started in Minneapolis. started in Minnesota. I don't know if it was exactly Minneapolis, but they had a Lifetime Fitness in the hotel we stayed at. It was right across from the Target Center where the Timberwolves played, and there was a Lifetime Fitness attached to it, and we had access to go play basketball, go to the gym, play racquetball, and this guy was talking about what a world-class tennis player he was and this and that, maybe not world-class, but he's a good tennis player. All racket sports he's good at. He did kick my ass in ping pong pretty bad at his house. I don't remember scoring a point. But anyway, we go and we decide to play racquetball. And, racquetball isn't as popular now as it was back then, but racquetball can get pretty competitive. And we're both in our mid-20s at that point and mid to late 20s, and we're ready for a ruckus game of racquetball, ready to go at it. And we started the game out, everything going fine. And I remember this one time I served the ball and I stayed a little bit towards the middle of the court after I served. And I heard the sound of the racket hitting the ball, and then like a split second, like a shot out of a gun, square right in the small of my back. Boom! Right, just hits me right in the small of the back.
It's a hindrance.
It's a hindrance. Yeah, I was in the way, evidently, and so it's I just met the guy, liked him, we were friends, and so I was like, oh, all right, sorry, it's. And he apologized, my bad. And I was like, all right, I'm not going to think anything of it. And so I go to serve again. I shook it off and I go to serve again. And this fucker swings again. I hear the sound of the ball.
Don't drift to the middle.
And he hits me square in the same spot, small of my back again on the racquetball. Now, racquetball, most people can handle one shot on racquetball. Yeah, it hurts, but whatever.
Listen, you didn't spit up blood.
Hey, dude, I want to tell you something. You take a shot in the same exact spot seconds later, you're going to feel it. And I was starting to get pissed off at that point. But I still liked you. Obviously, it was a great job and I wasn't going to start any shit. Friendly game. Maybe I'll get out of the middle a little bit. And so I go and I serve a third time. And I shit you not, to the listeners listening right now, this son of a bitch pegged me square in the exact spot 3 times in a row inside of a minute. And I was ready to fight him. I was ready to throw the F down. I was so pissed off.
It's a fun game, wasn't it? I mean, come on. Listen, I'm not that good at it. I didn't mean to do it. It just happened. It was what it was, It's it's a story.
That was the end of our game. That was it.
You chose to.
Oh yeah, I was out.
You resigned. You said I'm going to go ahead.
Call it resigning.
I can see this game to you. Mm-hmm. We're done.
Yeah, I don't believe I don't believe those are my words.
What was the restaurant we went to across the street? We had that amazing pork chop.
The pork chop. Pork chop is good. Fire Lake.
Downtown Minneapolis. Give it a try.
Yeah, good times, man.
That was good times.
Yeah. So, talk to me a little bit about this stage in your career. What are you looking to do? What do you want to be when you grow up, Jason?
Well, I mean, that what's next for me is, I've been through the trials and tribulations of life and divorce and, raising kids. And my youngest daughter just graduated high school this year. And, my fiance and I have been going back and forth from Washington for about six and a half years now. And so the next thing for me is move to Washington, which I'm excited for. So that'll be good. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. It's crazy to think that it's been that long already.
It's been that long. Yeah. It's actually kind of flown by. I mean, my kids were, the time just flies. It's crazy. And, I mean, it's funny. You think about a long distance relationship and, thankfully she and I kind of have, the ability to kind of get back and forth a couple times a month so we can see each other pretty regularly. But I can't imagine doing this without FaceTime. It's funny because there's nobody on the planet that I've spoken with more than her. There's nobody I think I've had more conversation with, like real time, anybody in my entire life. And that's condensed into that 6 years, which it's been pretty compelling. It's good.
You don't let her text you? She doesn't text you?
No, we text, but not if we're asking for something.
But you don't give her the same response that you give your kids, huh?
No.
Okay.
She knows how to do it. She knows how to read the room. We text logistics.
Got it.
Text questions. It's all yes no's or where's this, where's that, those kind of things. Yeah. She doesn't call me and ask for a whole lot via text. I tell you what, though, I'm going to have to grab my power cord because my computer is about to.
It's a rookie mistake, by the way.
And we're back.
See,
But
these
no,
are
so from what's that?
yeah, these are the things that you don't think through when you have a fancy studio that you get to record your podcast in. You know what I mean? You got everyone doing this stuff for you. You don't have to do anything yourself.
Yeah, we have taken that road. I mean, Brent and I both, we didn't know anything about podcasting. We had just been talking about, we've been talking on windshield time back and forth on the phone conversations. One day we're like, we should just do this. Let's go make this a podcast, see if it's interesting. And we got into a studio and then they did all our editing for us. It's pretty cool. But we're actually going to venture into trying to do it on our own. And it should be interesting. And which is where I'm going to try to learn from you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that tough. You'll be fine. There's great software out there right now. We're using an amazing platform right now. I'm not going to give them props until they want to pay me for advertising, but working so far, right? We'll see how it works on the back end.
Yeah.
Question for you. So this idea of time. What do we do about to slow it down? Because it's not until you start talking about the ages of your kids and seeing them go from a certain age through high school and then into college. I mean, what do we do about slowing this life down?
The only thing you can do, the only thing I think you can do is be present all the time because you're not getting any of it back. And you sit there and worry steals from today and regret just steals from now. Just don't do it. Just be where you are, be where your feet are, and take every opportunity. I tell my kids, say yes, just do it, do things, get out, interact with anyone you can. But in the only way to slow time or to it's not even slowing, it's just appreciating it. Be there and say yes to every opportunity. I say yes to every opportunity my kids want to do something because right now they don't care about me. They don't. It's if you get their time. It's the greatest thing you do. My kids ask me, "Hey, what are you making for dinner tonight?" I'm like, "Tell me what you want, and I'm making it, and we'll do it." Last night I made this pork chili verde, which is one of my top things I make. And Carter and one of the clinicals I work with came over, and Addison came down. I mean, it's amazing. The kids come over for food, and I think that's one of the great things that I like to do is share cooking. I'm the worst at cooking for myself, but for cooking for other people, man, I can't get enough. And those are the opportunities where you're just sitting down. Just being able to, kind of share the moments.
Yeah, it's kind of the whole idea of, so there's two things I want to talk about. One, you mentioned like cooking meals together, I think is extraordinary because it's about the whole journey of having the meal, not just sitting down and having the meal. And all too often when you go out to dinner with the kids, it all feels a little bit rushed. I mean, yes, you sit down, you're able to have some conversation, but I spend half the time telling the kids that if they touch their cell phones again, I'm going to kill their AT&T signal and they won't have access to the phone anymore. And so it's just, fighting for attention. But with regard to being in the moment, can we please just talk about that? Maybe that'll be the topic that we finish up on, because this is so near and dear to my heart. And I've got this whole concept. It was one of my keynotes. The keynote is called Find Tomorrow in Today. And the concept around that is stop putting off to tomorrow what you can do today. That's one aspect of it. But it's about we build these, not walls, but limitations in our mind of what you can accomplish in a day, like what makes sense to accomplish in a day. And we put these parameters on it. And I just want people to become more expansive and they look at the magic of an available day and what possibility each day holds and doing as much as you possibly can in that day. And what that does, and it translates to business quite a bit because the more you're able to do in the current day, you set yourself up for being able to do that much more in the preceding days. And it's the same with business. All too often, we have goals, we have sales goals, and the good reps, the good business people know when they're on pace to achieve their goal. And some of them will purposely not put the brakes on, but you're not doing more than you need to because you're okay with kind of just pacing this out to achieve your goals. But the extraordinary people put no limits on what they can accomplish at all. They're in a fight with themselves every single day, every single week, every month, every quarter. They want to continue to outpace what they did previously. And so that's why I always challenge people to do more in a day, sell more in a day, accomplish more in a day. It's going to set you up that much further down the road. This is what Kobe was talking about. This is why he woke up at 3 a.m., 4 a.m. and practiced before the practice started, so that he was having multiple practices each day more than his competition. And he knew over a span of time, by doing that, practicing that much more of a span of time, 5, 10, 15 years he talks about, no one ain't ever going to catch up after that.
It's true. I mean, and truthfully, it's looking for opportunities. It's always it's not being complacent. It's just, I guess this complacency is a bad word. I mean, I know you mean when you have people like they achieve their plan and they take the foot off the brakes or take the foot off the gas. And I just never understood that. Like, I don't act any different at the beginning of the quarter than I do at the end of the quarter. It's you're going out there trying to contribute, and you give your best to your customers and these patients, and you give your best to your kids and your wife. It's not finding a place where you can coast. It's finding a place where you can, like, I don't know. I always want to make people smile. Like, I want to live my life trying to be someone that, like, oh, that was impressive. I want to live my life trying to impress my wife, right? Just be like, don't get complacent. Like, do something every day. It's like, oh my God, that was awesome, and do it with everything. And you know when you're like, sometimes it doesn't feel good, but then just, I don't know, say yes, go do it, go do the thing you don't want to do. Which is one of those reasons I get up and cold plunge every morning. People are like, why? What are the health benefits? I'm like, I don't know. I do it because I don't want to. Every morning, I look at that thing out the window, like, but just go do it. And you do it because, like, I don't know, you get done with it. It's like, all right, that's one hard thing done. It's the same thing about making your bed. Just make your freaking bed. Do it. Start the day. Win number one. Do it.
Yeah. Okay, there it is. There it is, the cold plunge. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the person that officially got me into cold plunging. And the first day I was at his house, and he has a cold plunge at his house.
In the front yard, by the way, which is so weird.
It is a little weird.
Did I tell you, it was funny last winter. I had the homeless parade. The homeless parade goes in front of my house about 6 a.m. And I'm sitting out there in my stupid Euro Speedo. And I'm sitting in that cold plunge. This guy walks in front of my house. He looks over at me. He's like, why are you doing that? And I said, I do it to remember all those poor people, those poor souls that sunk into the icy waters of the North Atlantic on the Titanic. I do it to remember. Don't forget.
Don't forget. No, I remember the first time we did it, you wanted to show off and you went 4 minutes. And I went, and even after you set the example, you set the bar 4 minutes, I think I did 45 seconds max.
You didn't like it very much.
It was harsh. I mean, I felt like I was doing something wrong. I felt like I was like causing harm to my body. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And that's the heady piece of it. And it's tough to get around that and let go and say, you're okay. Yeah, you don't love it. It's not great, but you're going to be okay. You just have to get through it, breathe through it. And so after that, because I felt like such a puss after only doing it 45 seconds compared to you going the 4 minutes, I definitely made it a point to start to work myself up and get good at it. And now I can go for 4 minutes. I go over 4 minutes now when I do it. I haven't done it as much recently since I got injured. I've gone a few times, but I've gotten out of my typical routines that I was getting very, very focused on accomplishing on a daily, weekly basis. But I'll get back into it. It was pretty funny though, because you were a stud, and I think the water was like 42, 43 that day, and you did it the full 4 minutes. And I remember we went.
You remember going over to that East Liberty Tap House, sitting out on that patio, and I was shaking like a freaking leaf. I was shaking like a dog shit in a peach pit. I couldn't stop.
I had to give you my jacket,
dude. Every morning now, I go from here, and it's worse in the winter. You go out there when there's 6 inches of snow, but it's out to the car and flip that seat heater on and crank the heat all the way up. And yeah, I mean, I roll a dice now. That determines my time. And if you get a 1, you got to do double. You got to go in, get out, get in. Minutes too short, but like 6 minutes, I'm shivering for 45 minutes.
A long time.
Yeah, it's fun.
Impressive, man. Excellent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of, I try to do as much as I can to kind of alleviate back pain. I don't know if it does or not, but I feel like I don't know. I think the biggest thing is I don't want to do it. So you just got to do it. Suck it up.
100%. An episode with Jordan Garner, buddy of mine, and kind of the whole theme of the episode was doing the hard things, doing it because we don't want to do it. And when anything that you're kind of looking up at, like when you're looking at your Everest and you're looking at the top and it's like, holy shit, I don't want to do this. The minute that you say you don't want to do it, you know that you have to do it. And that is getting strong up here. And I do believe, I've mentioned this before, I do believe that that's the biggest benefit of doing things like that. It's about figuring out ways to accomplish things that the average person cannot. It's about differentiation. It's about setting yourself apart. It's about you being in control of yourself fully.
It's about being in control of yourself. I mean, I don't think of it in relation to other people as much, it just because I try to think about, I mean, shit, what am I doing? Like, I think about politics now. Like, what do we do? I'm like, what you do is you control your actions. You be good to the people in front of you. You contribute to your sphere, contribute to everyone you touch in a positive way. That's the way society is going to get better, I think, and then, do things you don't have to do. Look for things you don't have to do, for people that you don't get any benefit from. You just decide to do it because, I don't know, someone needs it.
Well, Jay, I just want you to hear it from me, since I know how important this is for you, that Jay, I want to let you know that you make me smile.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. You are an easy audience. All my freaking jokes work on you freaking well. It's great.
I am a very easy audience.
You're an easy audience. Yeah. And you too. It's been great knowing you over the years, and this is fun to come do. And I appreciate all the guidance that I'm gonna take from you in the future as I put this whole thing together.
Got it, man. You got it. And I appreciate you being generous with your time. We are at time. And so I'm just going to go ahead and close this out. I want to thank you, Jason, for joining us on this podcast. This hour went so fast. It's always amazing to connect with you. I don't get to connect with you nearly often enough. And you've got so much great information and knowledge to share with the audience. And so again, let's do it again. And thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. Come out to Utah this year. Let's get some scanning.
Let's do it. All right, I'm going to wrap this up the way I wrap every episode up and remind everyone that this life is what you make of it. The future you is waiting to meet the current you. Continue to keep the promises you make to yourself and fight like hell to bring your tomorrow into today. Until we meet again, eyes wide, see everything. Goodbye.